Okay. So yesterday we were saying about we have started with these tools methods used in a cybercrime, and we have started with what are the different basic stages of an attack, and we have seen about initial uncovering, network probe, crossing the line towards electronic crime, capturing the network, grab the data, covering tracks. So then we have started with proxy server and anonymizer. So proxy server is something like you're giving a proxy attendance similarly like a proxy server. Means it is not a original server, but it is being replaced. Just for a temporary purpose, they may use a proxy server. Or sometimes maybe to speed up the work, also they may start using a proxy server. So anonymizer means I don't want my identity to be revealed to other person who is checking my mails. They should think that someone else has sent, but not me. So in that case, we use it as an anonymizer. Then we have seen how what is phishing. Phishing is a fake or a false email which can infect your system. With an additionally to steal the personal. Why do they fish? To steal your personal and financial data. Then how the phishing works? So there were first step is to they'll plan, then set up, decide the target, planning, decide the target, set up, create methods for delivering the message, and to collect the data about the target. Third one, attack. Fisher sends a phony message or collection, record the information of victim, identify theft and fraud, use the information that they have gathered to make illegal purchase or commit fraud. Then password cracking. Password cracking is a process of recovering passwords from data that have been stored in or transmitted by a computer system. Examples of guessable password. So how can we guess anybody's password? Maybe we just leave a blank, or maybe the words itself, we give it as a password or passcode or admin. So these are the passwords which can be predictable. So then series of letter QWERTY, which is a sequence in the keyboard, can be predicted. In the same way, username or a login name or name of user friends or a relatives. Then user birthplace or date of birth or a relatives or a friends. User vehicle number, office number, residence number or a mobile number. Name of a celebrity who is considered to be an ideal by the user. Simply modification of one of the preceding, such as suffixing a digit, particularly one, or reversing the order of letter. Password cracking attacks can be classified under three categories as follows: online attack, offline attack, non-electronic attacks, that is social engineering, shoulder surfing, and dumpster driving. So these are the password cracking attacks where you can find out what are the passwords. Then we have seen what was the online attack, what is offline attack. So in the offline also, how the passwords can be guessed. That is strong, weak, and random. So then in the random key passwords, we may have something general guidelines. In there, we see about a keylogger and a spyware. So again, in keylogger, we may say how the keylogger, it may be based on the software keylogger or a hardware keylogger. Software keylogger means there is a software between the keyboard and the operating system, then we call it as a software keylogger. Similarly, when we have some small hardware part which is identifying a password between your keyboard and the PC, then we call it as a hardware keylogger. So the same way, anti-keyloggers. So now we know that either we may use a software or either we may use a hardware to find out what is a password. So what we have to be very clever is we have to use an anti-keylogger so that either they use a software, either they use a hardware, a password cannot be cracked. So that's what in that case we have something called as an anti-keylogger. Anti-keylogger is a tool that can detect the keylogger installed on the computer system and also can remove the tool. Firewalls cannot detect the installation of keylogger on the systems. Hence, anti-keylogger can detect installation of a keyloggers. This software does not require regular updates of signatures basis to work effectively, such as other antivirus and anti-spy programs, prevents internet banking frauds, it prevents ID theft, it secure email and instant messaging and chatting. Spyware is malicious software secretly installed on the user's personal computer. Spyware the spyware such as a keylogger are installed by the user or a shared computers on the purpose to secretly monitor others user. So then we have started with what is virus and what is worms. So computer virus is program that can infect legitimate program by modifying them to include a possibly evolved copy of itself. So viruses can take some actions, maybe displaying the message to prompt an action which may set the virus, or delete files inside the system into which viruses enter, scramble data on a hard disk, cause erratic screen behavior, or halt the system or PC, just replicate themselves to propagate further harm. Type of viruses, computer viruses can be categorized based on attacks on various elements of the system and can put the system and personal data on the system in danger. Boot sector viruses, program viruses, multi-participate viruses, stealth viruses, polymorphic viruses, macro viruses, ActiveS and Java control. Computer worm is a self-replicate malware computer program which uses a computer network to send copies of itself to other nodes, and it may do not do so without user intervention. What is Trojan horse? Trojan horse is a program which is a malicious or a harmful code is contained inside apparently harmless program or data in such a way that it can get control and cause harms. Trojan can get into the system in a number of ways, including from a web browser, via email, or in bundle with other software downloaded from the internet. Unlike viruses or worms, Trojan do not replicate themselves, but they can equally destructive. On the surface, Trojan appears beginning and harmless, but once the infected code is executed, Trojan kick in and perform malicious functions to harm the computer without computer system without using the user knowledge. Then backdoor. So what is backdoor? Backdoor is a means to access to a computer program that bypasses security mechanism. So then a program may sometime install a backdoor so that the program can be accessed for troubleshooting or other purposes. An attacker often uses backdoor that they detect or install themselves as a part of an exploit. In some cases, a worm is designed to take advantage of a backdoor created by an earlier attacks. How to protect from Trojan horse and backdrops? Stay away from suspect websites or a web link. Surf on the web cautiously. Install antivirus or Trojan remover softwares. So next we move on to steganography. So what do we mean by steganography? It is a method that attempts to hide the extension of a message or communication. So what it is doing, I want to send some message to some of 4th semester student. But how I want to send? I want to send it in such a way that I don't want it to be directly. I will send it as a code, some messages, so that it should not be known to everyone. So then such process is called as a steganography. So what is steganography? It is a method that attempts to hide the existence of a message or communication. The word steganography comes from the two Greek words. Stigno mean covered and graph in means to write. That means concealed writing. So that's what that steganography means. So you would have seen somewhere some images where they write in such a way that it looks as an image, but if you go front, you can see there are words in that. So such type are called as a signography. There it looks as an image, but once you see in the other way, it is a collection of words, or it is a numbers. Like it can be a letters, it can be a numbers. It is in a readable form. Then that we call it as a stignography. Stign analysis. What is stign analysis? Stign analysis is an art and science of detecting message that are hidden in images, either it may be in audio or video files, using a stignography. What is stign analysis? So that's what I just told. It is an art and a science for detecting messages that are hidden in the image. Now I have sent you a stignography image. So then you should be in a position to read the message what I have sent. So in that case, you can use a stigma analysis. So stigma analysis is the art and science of detecting message that are hidden in images, audio, video files using a stignography. Automated tools are used to detect such stignographed data or information hidden in the image and audio and or video files. DOS and DOS attacks. So what is DOS? DOS is something is called as a denial of service attack. That is DOS attack, or distributed denial service attack. DDoS is what? Distributed. So just DOS is what? Denial of service attack, or DDoS is what? Distributed denial of service attack. Is an attempt to make a computer resources unavailable to its indeed users. So now I want something, but now it may be not available to me. But after 1 hour, it is available. The resource is available to me, but it may not be required for me. Such type of process is called as a DOS, or distributed DOS attacks. Let us see one by one. So what is DOS attack? The attacker floods the bandwidth of the victim's network or fills his email box with spam mails, depriving him of the services he is entitled to access or provide. So what we do here in a DOS attack? So the DOS attack, we see you in your inbox in Gmail, you may get so many mails in such a way that the Gmail space, whatever the Google people have given, it is filled. So then what you have to do, it becomes very difficult for you to send and receive. Same way, just now, what did we do yesterday? There was one online link. I am clicking. It is still waiting. We are not able to log in. So that is one way of DOS attack. So then again, what we have done, we have created one more. What Sudhishram has created, the same thing we are using. So the goal of DOS is not to gain unauthorized access to the system or data, but to prevent intended users of service from using it. So flood a network with the traffic. So what we do here, flood a network with the traffic, thereby preventing legitimate network traffic, disrupt connections between two systems, thereby preventing access to a service, preventing a particular individuals from accessing a service, disrupt service to a specific system or a person. So that's what here DOS attack is. The attacker floods the bandwidth of the victim network or fills his email box with spam mail, depriving him for the service he is entitled to access or provide. So the goal of the DOS is not to gain unauthorized access to the system or data, but to prevent intended users, that is legitimate users of a service, from using it, flood a network with a traffic, thereby preventing legitimate network traffic, disrupt connections between two systems, thereby preventing access to a service, prevent a particular individuals from accessing a service, disrespect service to a particular specific system or a person. What is distributed denial of service attacks? So in a DDoS attacks, an attacker may use a computer to attack another computer by taking advantage of security vulnerability or weaknesses. An attacker could take control of your computer. Then he or she could then force your computer to send huge amount of data to a website or send spam to particularly email addresses. So then A distributed denial of service attack is a distributed DOS wherein a large number of zombie systems are synchronized to attack a particular system. The zombie system are called secondary victims and the main target is called primary victim. uh, Distributed denial of service attack involve hard code the target IP address prior to release of the malware. Hence, so no further interaction is necessary to launch the attack. A system can also compromised with a torsion, allowing the attacker to download a zombie agent. So this is what a DOS and uh, distributed DOS is. So in this case, what is the thing which we have seen? Steganography, stigma analysis, DOS and distributed DOS attacks. So steganography means what? It is hiding the information and sending that information so that the other person should, no one should understand, only source and destination people should understand. So such type of process is called as the steganography. Then stigma analysis. A stigma analysis is the art and science of detecting message that are hidden in the images or audio, either it may be in audio or video files using the steganography. You would have seen so many movies where if they want to send some information, half of the note they'll send and other half will be with them. If that matches, then only they'll give the information. Something like that you would have seen. Same way here, steganography and stigma analysis are similar to that. So automated tools are used to detect steganographic data information hidden in the image and audio and video files. So what is DOS and distributed DOS? A denial of service attack or a distributed denial of service attack is an attempt to make a computer resource unavailable to intent user things. So then what is DOS attacks? So DOS attack, the attacker floods the bandwidth. So now we are using the bandwidth. So if someone else is using the bandwidth, so then we use that particular bandwidth. So someone is hacking our, right now we are using a bandwidth and we are able to see, you can see how the others are using our thing. So in that case, DOS attacks can be used. One second. Okay. Okay. So here, DOS attack. In a DOS attack, an attacker may use your computer to attack another computer by taking advantage of security vulnerabilities or weaknesses. An attacker could take control of your computer. He or she could then force your computer to send huge amount of data to a website or spend spam to a particular email address. So that may also be there so that we can try to get the information. A DOS attack is a distributed DOS wherein large number of zombie systems are synchronized to attack a particular system. The zombie system are typically called secondary victims and the main target is called as a primary victim. The DOS attack involves hard coding the internet IP address prior to release of the malware. Hence, no further interaction is necessary to launch the attack. The system may also be compromised with a torsion, allowing the attacker to download a zombie agent. So then how to protect okay, so how to protect from DOS and distributed DOS attacks? So implement router filters. So to avoid all these, what are our first step we have to take care? We have to see to that implemented router filters are used when we are using the internet. Then in such filters are available for your system. Install patches to guard against TCP and sync flooding. So disable any unused or inessential network services. Enable, that's what you can see in our college. So some, they are using filters, uh, a firewall in such a way that unwanted websites should not be visited by the students. So that's how here. Similarly here, whenever it is not essential for you, then they are saying that you can block those things. So sometimes you can see you may get some unwanted calls which is irritating you people, and you want to block them. So there is an option in even in our mobile also to block such type of phone numbers. Same way here also, even to protect from a DOS and distributed DOS attacks. So for what we have to do, we can disable them. So then enable quota system on your operating system if they are available. Observe your system performance and establish baseline for ordinary activity. Then routinely examine your physical security with regard to your current needs. So routinely what we do, routinely examine your physical security with regard to your current needs. Use tripwire or a similar tool to detect changes in configuring information or other files. Invest in and maintain or spare machines that can be placed into service quickly if a similar machine is disabled. Invest in redundant and fault tolerant network configuration. So establish and maintain regular backup schedules and policies, particularly for important configuration information. Establish and maintain appropriate password policies, especially accessing to high privileged accounts such as Unix, root, or Microsoft Windows NT administrator. So that's how we can see how we can protect how to protect from a DOS and distributed DOS attacks. So what we do here, implement the router filters. So implementing the router filters, how do we implement them? We implement them to see that how the firewalls, this such type in the router, implement router filters. So now I don't want something, then I can, you even in the Word also you can see there is a filter option. So you may have so much data, but you want to see only your details. And what you can do, you can just click on that and give your name. You can search very fast. Same way here, implement router filter. If such filters are available for your system, install patches to guard against TCP or sync flooding. Disable any unused or inessential network service. Enable quota system on your operating system if they are available. Observe your system performance and establish baseline for ordinary activity. Routinely examine your physical security with regard to your current needs. Use tripwire or similar tools to detect change in configuration information or other files. Invest in and maintain hot spare machines that can be placed into service quickly if a similar machine is disabled. Invest in redundant and fault tolerance network configuration. Establish and maintain regular backup schedule and policies, particularly for importing configuration information. Establish and maintain appropriate password policies, especially to access high privileged accounts such as Unix root, Microsoft Windows NT administrators. So next we move on to SQL injection. So what is this SQL injection? SQL injection is a code injection technique that exploits a security vulnerability occurring in the database layer of any application. So what we do in SQL injection, SQL injection is a code injection technique that exploits a security vulnerability occurring in the database layer of any application. So vulnerability is present when user input is either filtered incorrectly for string, or it may be for literals, escape characters embedded in SQL, statement or user input is not strongly typed and thereby unexpectedly executed. So attacker targets the SQL server, common database server used by many organizations to store confidential data. During an SQL injection attack, malicious code is inserted into a web form field or the website code to make a system execute a command cell or other arbitrary commands. So just as legitimate users enters queries and addition to the SQL database via a web form, the attacker can insert commands to the SQL server through the same web form field. So that's what we can see how the SQL injection will be taking place. So just as a legitimate user enters queries and addition to the SQL database via a web form, the attacker can insert command to a SQL server through the same web form field. So then blind SQL injection. So the blind SQL injection is used when a web application is vulnerable to an SQL injection, but the result of the injection are not visible to the attacker. The page with the vulnerability may not be the one that displays data. However, it will display differently depending on the results of a logical system injected into the legitimate SQL statement called for the page. So then, using SQL injection, attackers can obtain some basic information if the purpose of the attack is reconsidering or gathering the information. We gain access to the database by obtaining username and their passwords, add new data to the server, modify data currently in the database. Then how to prevent SQL injection attacks? SQL injection attacks occur due to poor web administrations and coding. Following steps can be taken to prevent SQL injections. So input validations, whenever we give any input, we have to validate them. Then modify error reports. Other preventions we can do when we are using a SQL injection. So the default system accounts for SQL Server 2000 should never be used. Isolate database server and web server. Both should reside on different machines. Most often, attacker may use of several extended stored procedures such as XMCMD shell and XP grant login in SQL injection attacks. So at the default SQL account for SQL Server is 2000. SQL Server 2000 should never be used because it is an older version where this high-end technologies are not there. So then we cannot prevent them in the SQL injection. Then isolate database server and web server. Both should reside on different machines. Most often, attacker may make use of several extended stored procedures such as so most often the attacker may use several extended procedures such as XMP, CMD shell, or XP grant login in SQL injection attacks. In such cases, extended stored procedure are not used or have unused triggers stored procedures, user-defined functions, etc. Then these should be moved to an isolated server. So buffer overflow, type of buffer overflow, we'll see in the next class. So, but before we stop, let us summarize what we have done today till now. So we have started with tools and methods used in cybercrime. So we have seen what are the basic stages of attacker. So then first was initial uncovering, network probe, cross the line towards electronic email, capturing the network, grab the data, covering attacks, covering tracks. Then what is proxy server and anonymizer? Proxy is a computer on the network which acts as an intermediary for connection with the proxy with other computer on that network. A proxy server has following purpose: keep the systems behind the certain, speed up access to the resource through caching. A specialized proxy server are used to filter unwanted content such as advertisements. Then proxy server can be used as IP address multiplexer to enable to connect number of computer on the internet. Whenever one has only one IP address, an anonymizer or anonymous proxy is a tool that attempts to make activity on the internet untraceable. It accesses the internet on the user's behalf, protecting personal information by aiding the source computer's identifying information. Phishing is a fake or a false email which can infect system in addition to stealing personal and financial data. So then how phishing works? Phishers work with the following ways. First step is planning. Decide the target. Second step, set up, create methods for delivering a message and collect data about the target. Third one, attack. Fisher sends a phony message. So that is what the attack is. Then collection, record the information of the victim. Fifth one, identify theft and fraud. Use the information that have been gathered to make illegal purchase or commit fraud. Then we have seen about what is a password cracking. Password cracking is a process of recovering passwords from data that have been stored in or transmitted by a computer system. Examples of guessable password include blank, none, the words like password, passcode, and admin. Series of letters from a QWERTY. This is a series in the keyboard. So in your keyboard, you can see this is the one series in your keyboard. So such type of passwords are very easily identified. In the same way, username and logins are also able to identify. And the same way, name of the username or login can also be identified. Name of the user's friend or relative or a pet name can also be identified. Then user's birthplace or date of birth or a relative or a friend's numbers can also be identified very easily. Or one more way is your vehicle number or office numbers, residence number or mobile number. Name of a celebrity who is considered to be an idol. Example, actors, actresses, spiritual gurus by the user. So if they keep any of the guru names also, it can be easily identified. A simple modification of one of the preceding, such as suffixing a digit, particularly one, or reversing the order of the letters, even this also can be easily identified. Then password cracking attacks can be classified into three categories. One is online, offline, then non-electronic attacks. So non-electronic attacks, example like social engineering, shoulder surfing, and dumpster diving. So these are the non-electronic attacks. So then online attack. So the online attack, the most common online attack is a man in the middle attack, also termed as a bucket brigade attack or sometimes John attack. So it is a form of active eavesdropping in which the attacker establishes a connection between the victim and the server to which victim is connected. So online attack means now I have to attack some system. So what I'll do is I'll not directly attack that particular system which I want, but instead of that, I connect one more person. From there, I will connect to the that main victim's system. So then this process we call it as an online attack. Then offline attack usually require physical access to the computer and copying the password file from the system into onto a removable medium. So offline attacks can be a strong, weak, random passwords. A weak password is one which could be easily guessed, short, common, and a system default password that could be easily found by executing a brute force attack and by using a subset of all possible passwords. A strong password is long enough, random, or otherwise difficult to guess, producible only by the user who choose it. So then the random password is a stronger if it is if it include a mix of upper and lowercase letters, numbers, and other symbols, then allowed for same number of characters. The guidelines, generic guideline application applicable to the password policies are keylogger and a spyware. So the general guidelines what be used for password policies. The first one is a keylogger and a spyware. So the keystrokes logging, practice of noting or logging the keys struck on the keyboard. So keystroke logger or a keylogger is a quicker and easier way of capturing the password and monitoring the victim IT Seva behavior. It can be classified as a software keylogger and a hardware keyloggers. So what is software keyloggers? Software keyloggers are a software program installed on the computer system which usually are located between the operating system and the keyboard hardware, and ever keystrokes is recorded. Keylogger usually consists of two files that get installed in the same directory, that is dynamic link library DLL files and an executable exe files that install the DLL files and that trigger it to work. Then hardware keylogger are small hardware device connected to PC and or to the keyboard and save every keystrokes into the file and in the memory of the hard device. These keyloggers look like an integrated part of such system, hence bank customers are unaware of their presence. So the anti-keylogger, what to avoid such type of software keyloggers and hardware keyloggers, what we have to do is we have to use anti-keyloggers. So what is this anti-keyloggers? Anti-keylogger is a tool that can detect the keylogger installed in the computer and can also remove the tools. Firewalls cannot detect the installation of keylogger on the system. Hence, anti-keyloggers can detect installation of the keylogger. This software does not require a regular updates of signatures basis to work effectively, such as other antivirus and anti-spy programs. Prevents internet banking frauds. It prevents ID theft. It secures email and instant messaging or chatting. Spyware is a malicious software secretly installed on the user's personal computer. Spyware such as keylogger are installed by the owner of a shared corporate or a public computer on purpose to secretly monitor other user. What is a virus and worms? A computer virus is a program that can infect legitimate programs by modifying them to include a possibly evolved copy of itself. Viruses can take some typical actions, display a message to prompt an action which may set off the viruses, delete files inside the system into which viruses enters, scramble data on the hard disk, causes erratic screen behavior, halt the system, just replicate themselves to propagate further harm. Types of viruses. Computer viruses can be categorized based on attacks on various elements of the system and can put the system and personal data on the system in danger. So boot sector virus, program viruses, multi-purpose viruses, stealth viruses, polymorphic virus, macro virus, ActiveX, and Java control. So then computer worm is a self-replicating malware computer program which uses a computer network to send copies of itself to other nodes, and it may do so without any user intervention. What is Trojan virus? Trojan virus is a program in which malicious or harmful code is contained inside apparently harmless programs or data in such a way that it can get control and cause harms. Trojan can get into a system in a number of ways, including from a web browser, via email, or in a bundle with other software downloaded from the internet. Unlike viruses or worms, Trojan do not replicate themselves, but they can be quickly destructive. On the surface, Trojans appear beginning and harmless, but once the infected code is executed, Trojan kicks in and performs malicious functions to harm the computer system without the user knowledge. Backdoor Backdoor is a means of accessing to a computer program that bypasses security mechanism. A programmer may sometimes install a backdoor so that the program can be accessed for troubleshooting or other purpose. An attacker often uses backdoors that they detect or install themselves as a part of a exploit. In some cases, a worm is designed to take advantage of a backdoor created by an easier attacks. How to protect from Trojan horse and backdrops? Stay away from unsuspected websites or web links. Surf on the web cautiously. Install antivirus or a Trojan or remove the software. So steganography, it is a method that attempts to hide the existence of the message or communication. The word steganography comes from the two Greek words. Stigma means covered and graph in meaning to write. That means concealed writing. Stigma analysis. A stigma analysis is the art and science of detecting message that are hidden in images, audio and video files using the steganography. Automated tools are used to detect such steganographed data or information hidden in the image and or audio or a video files. So DOS and distributed DOS attacks, the denial of service attacks. Denial of service attack or distributed denial of service attack is an attempt to make a computer resource unavailable to its intended user. So DOS attack, the attacker floods the bandwidth of the victim's network or files or fills his email box with a spam mail depriving him for the service he entitled to access or provide. The goal of DOS is not to gain unauthorized access to the system or data, but to prevent intended users, that is legitimate user of service, from using it. Flood a network with the traffic, thereby preventing legitimate network traffic. Disrupt connections between two systems, thereby preventing access to a service. Prevent a particular individuals from accessing a service. Disrespect a service to a specific system or a person. Then what is distributed DOS attack? In a distributed DOS attack, an attacker may use a computer to attack another computer by taking advantage of security vulnerabilities or weaknesses an attacker could take control of your computer. He or she could then force your computer to send huge amount of data to a website and send spam to a particular email address. A distributed DOS attack is a distributed DOS wherein a large number of zombie systems are synchronized to attack a particular system. So the zombie system are called secondary victims, that the main target called primary victims. So distributed DOS attacks involve hard code of IP target address prior to release of the malware. Hence, no further interaction is necessary to launch the attack. A system may also comprised with a Trojan, allowing the attacker to download a zombie agent. How to protect a DOS and distributed DOS attack? Implement the router filters. In such filters are available for systems. Install patches to guard against TCP. Disable any unused or inessential network service. Enable quota system on your operating system if they are available. Observe your system's performance and establish baseline for ordinary activity. Routinely examine your physical security with regard to your current needs. Use tripwire or a similar tool to detect changes in configuration information or other files. Invest in and maintain hot spares machines that can be placed in the service to quickly if a similar machine is disabled. Invest in redundant and fault tolerant network configuration. Establish and maintain regular backup schedules and policies, particularly for important configuration information. Establish and maintain appropriate password policies, especially access to high privileged accounts such as Unix root or Microsoft Windows NT administrator. Then we have started with SQL injection. Then what is blind SQL injection? So then how to prevent SQL injection attacks? So I'll stop here and we'll continue in the next class. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.